Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. I hope all of you had a good weekend and that you're ready to get started on a new week in Comp 1 with Review. So, today, Monday, June 21st, we're going to be talking about the research / argument essay, and we're going to be looking at that. And I've got a little PowerPoint for you. I've got PowerPoint. I've got an assignment sheet, an outline that we're going to talk about today. And then tomorrow we'll talk about how to use the library databases and the proposal assignment. But today you actually, you don't really have any homework until tomorrow. You have some thinking due tomorrow. You have some thinking to do today, and then a little bit of writing due tomorrow. The only thing you have due today is your final draft of your review essay. So if you go to course content week 4, June 21st, review essay submission link, it's right there. Go ahead and submit that if you haven't already. And let's go ahead and get started on the research / argument essay. So this is the last essay we're going to be doing in this class, and it's the biggest one. I think it's worth, I want to say 30% of your final grade, so it's a big deal. Okay, so argumentation at its core, this is fairly easy. We all have opinions about things, and in this paper you're going to argue your opinion without using I or you. Because using I weakens your argument. You just want to state what you have to say like it's fact instead of saying I believe or I think. I think I've probably said that on all of your papers. So this is what we did in the review essay. You said this thing, this movie. I think pretty much everybody did a movie. No, we had one album. So you said this thing is good, and then you gave me reasons in the body about why it's good. So that's the same sort of thing you're going to be doing with the argument essay. The characteristic features of an argument essay is you have an explicit position. So you don't want your reader to be guessing if you're for or against this thing. You have to explicitly say yay or nay. And this needs to be your thesis statement. So the example I always use is global warming. So a thesis statement about a paper about global warming could be global warming is happening every day or something like that. And that just says, that tells the reader immediately that you believe that global warming is happening and that your paper is going to be about how it's happening and what it's doing. So for example, here we go. If you're writing about climate change being real, your thesis could be climate change is a real phenomenon that can be seen in weather patterns across the globe, the melting of the ice caps, and in other areas of scientific data. And then my body paragraphs would then go on to give examples of each of these points, but the position is clearly stated here. Climate change is real. Bada bing, bada boom. Reader knows immediately what I think about climate change. So something to remember about argument essays is that they are always part of a larger conversation. You are entering the conversation. Other people have written about climate change or whatever it is that you're writing about. So there are going to be people who disagree with you. And you may have to address some of those in your paragraphs. And that's part of where research comes in. So we're not going to have a whole lot of room for background information. Your introduction will need a little bit of background information, but in general, authors really are expected to give a lot of background information. Usually this is historical background definitions or contextual knowledge, but like I said, we're not going to have a lot of time for that. You're just going to have your introduction, which is going to give a little bit of background. A clear indication of why this topic matters. Who cares? You have to answer that question. Why is this topic important? Why should people be motivated to do anything you say or to listen to you? And that's going to be that'll probably be in your introduction and or conclusion. because you really you want to make people care about whatever the topic is that you're talking about. So good reasons and evidence. This is where research comes in. Your book, I think this is the old book that I'm quoting out of, but positions are only as good as the reasons and evidence that support them. So part of every author's task in arguing a position is to provide the strongest possible reasons for the position and evidence for those reasons. So basically you're going to give me things like data. Data is a really good thing to use to support your arguments. You have to back up what you say. You could be the most trustworthy person on the planet, but how are your readers going to know that? I mean, they can't. So back what you say with data and proof. I said this is just like what we did with the compare contrast essay. We skipped that essay, but this is what we did with the review essay to some extent, because you said, yeah, this album is good, and then in the body paragraph you told me why. And you backed up what you said with specific examples from the movie, from the songs, and so on and so forth. It's the same thing. An authoritative tone. You have to know what you're talking about and act like you know what you're talking about. Again, you can't say things like I think or I believe. It weakens your argument. Say what you have to say like it's fact, and then prove that it is. And you'll get an authoritative tone more so after you get some research. And, once you've established that, it'll be easier. Just avoid I think or I believe, because it weakens your argument. You cannot say those things because it just makes you sound unsure. Just say what you have to say like it's fact, and then prove to the reader that it is. And appeal to the reader's values. This relates to ethos, pathos, and logos, which we're going to explore more in depth later. Just very briefly, ethos is an appeal to your reader's ethics. Pathos is an appeal to your reader's emotional state. So like stories about, cute little animals, old people, babies. Those are all things that we use to elicit an emotional response. And logos is an appeal to your reader's logic. So that is data, straight hard facts. Which is probably going to be the easiest thing for y'all to use in this paper because you're doing a lot of research for it. Depending on what you're writing about, you may be able to pull in some pathos or ethos, but logos is the biggest thing that you're going to be using. And again, I think it's on Thursday is when we start our research day, and that day I'm going to post a video about ethos, pathos, and logos and sort of talk you through what each is and give examples of each, just so you're familiar with it and you will know which one you can, besides logos, because you're going to use logos no matter what. You're going to use facts. But see if you can somehow work some ethos or pathos into it. And we'll have a little assignment on identifying what certain things are ethos, pathos, or logos. So the research part of the essay. The first thing you need to do is find a topic that interests you. The last thing anybody wants to do is write a topic, and we're spending 2 weeks on this, so you don't want to spend 2 weeks on something that you don't care about. So pick something that you like to talk about and that you have an opinion about and that you have an interest in, and it's going to make writing so much easier. If you have several topics in mind, that's fine. Once you start narrowing down topics, doing pre-writing, doing preliminary research, it's going to become clear which is best. I say Opposing Viewpoints and Context is a great website to use. I'm going to show you how to get to the databases tomorrow so that you can look at those. I want you to just start marinating on what you think you want to talk about before I show you where the databases are, so that you kind of have a direction that you think you might want to go in first. Sometimes topics are too broad, sometimes they're too narrow. Make sure your topic can be covered in the amount of pages given to you. In this case, 3. So you don't want to tackle all of climate change in that little space, obviously. However, changing weather patterns in the U.S. might be more viable in 3 pages. So you can't pick just a huge topic. You kind of have to make sure that it's narrow enough that you can cover it in just 3. I think I'll give you 3 to 5 pages. So. Again, your thesis is your argument. It's the whole point of the essay and should convey your stance to the reader. You should come right out of the gate and say you believe in this thing or you don't. So if you have any questions, email me about that. Let's look at the assignment sheet real quick. Okay, 4 pages. It's not 3, it's 4 pages. So essay must be in MLA format, at least 4 pages long. You cannot use I, you, very, a lot of, or any other forbidden words. You cannot use I or you in this essay. I let y'all use it in the narrative. I let you use I in the review to some extent. You cannot use it in this essay. Your thesis statement must be italicized. Thesis statement must be arguable because a thesis statement is not a statement of fact, and supported with ethos, pathos, and or logos. Again, you're going to be using logos, but I will post a video about it more later. You must have at least 3 reasons for your arguments, no more than 6 reasons. So you have to have 3 supporting body paragraphs at least. You have to have 4 reputable sources, and you must use all your sources. So if you have 6 sources on your works cited page, you need to make sure you use all 6 of those sources. Quotes should be 3 lines or less. So if you're quoting from your source, just make sure that it's 3 lines or less. You must have a works cited page that follows MLA format. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday, I believe. And essay must follow all instructions and requirements, including prompt. So, due dates, your topic proposal is due Wednesday, June 23rd. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Works cited page is going to be due Thursday, June 24th. Rough draft is going to be due Friday, June 25th. And then we'll start peer reviews on Monday and Tuesday of next week. And then your final draft will be due Wednesday, June 30th, which is our last day of instruction. So, you can pick your own topic, anything you want. There are some things that are no-nos for me. You can't talk about abortion. You can't talk about gay marriage. I generally prefer you stay away from LGBTQ issues unless you are a member of that community. Can't talk about legalizing marijuana, lowering the legal drinking age. Should college athletes be paid? You can't talk about that. These are just topics that are just way overdone. Just way overdone. I think that's it. But this is your whole assignment sheet. But the big thing you need to know is that today, I just want you to start thinking about what topic you might want to write about. So I do have an outline essay to show you kind of what I'm looking for. So the introduction is where you explicitly state your position about your topic. You also need to talk about why this topic matters. So here's my example introduction. Global warming is a huge problem for the world today. It's something that everyone who lives on the planet should be concerned about because this is the only planet we have. As a species, we need to be more conscious of what we're doing to take care of our planet. Okay? So then we'll go to the body paragraph. So I need at least 3. And each body paragraph should cover 1 point about my topic and have evidence to support it. So if my first body paragraph is going to be about recycling. So my thesis is that we need to be more conscious of what we're doing to take care of the planet. So in the first body paragraph, I'm talking about recycling, the best ways to do it, why we should do it, how to do it, and etc. I would have facts and figures about how recycling helps. Second body paragraph would be about reusable items like reusable shopping bags, water bottles, straws. And I would again have facts and figures from my sources about how doing this will help the environment and what things are the most helpful and what are the most harmful. The third body paragraph could be about elected officials who are prepared to enact legislation to protect the environment, since one person can only do so much. And I would have sources on how to research local candidates and possibly organizations close to home that are working toward changing any non-green legislation. And then my conclusion is where I summarize my argument and I restate why my topic is important. Now, obviously, you can't use this. You can't take this topic. You can talk about another facet of global warming, but you can't use this outline specifically. Let me see. So that's how I want you to set it up. It's the same thing we did with the review essay. So I also have the rubric posted that you can look at. I have a couple of essay examples that I would really recommend that you go in and read. This one's Ghosts Do Exist. This is actually a really cute one. I enjoyed this one. And what is the other one about? Violence linked to video games. That's another one. So these are a little short, and they say, I believe, oh, these were not my students, so, but these are just some examples to kind of give you an idea of how to set it up and how to structure it and kind of the things that some other people have talked about. Again, you get to pick your own topic. It just can't be one of those ones that I don't want you to talk about, and you're going to have to tell me why you want to talk about that topic. So, I think that's everything for today. I just want you to be submit your final draft of your review essay. I just want you to be thinking about what you could possibly have your research argument essay about and kind of be marinating on that. Tomorrow I will post a video about how to access the databases, which is where you're going to do most of your research. We're going to talk about what makes a good source, and then we're also I'm going to show you the proposal assignment and tell you how I want you to do that. So, all right, y'all. Well, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, call me, email me, text me, do what you need to do. I think that's everything. So just let me know if you need me, and I will speak with each of you soon. Bye.